What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of SCUM. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That, of course, if you couldn't tell by those enormous teeth, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We're back. This, of course, is where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Rex Ruger. And we're about to have another kick-ass episode and get into it right now. Here we go. Lift off. Let's get down to the brass tacks. What's up, boys?
Hey, man. How you doing? You all right?
Now, already you're looking skeptical, and I already know what you're thinking, man. Geez, where do I know this guy's face from? Yes, you are correct. I am Diamond David Lee Roth Jr.
I thought I were him.
You thought so, right? Okay,
Yeah,
that's good. I'm glad you thought so. And I tell all guests that say that, I may quote you on that. I may even subpoena you when it gets to that point. I need people to stand up for me in court and say, hey, come on, we believe this guy is Diamond David. I mean, you can tell, right?
Yeah, man. We'll be there for you.
You'll be there for, okay, perfect. And when I get a little taste of that Panama money, I'm funding the whole tour for you guys. All
yeah,
of it.
man.
Whole kit and caboodle. But listen, I'm glad I stumbled across you guys, man. I really like what you're doing. And having done so many of these episodes, I've had a lot of legends on here, man. But what really excites me is giving a platform to like young up and coming bands. So I kind of like to go back to the beginning, man. How did you guys get into music? You know, was there an artist or an album or a song that really kind of lit the flame for you guys?
So for me, it was there's an English band called Franz Ferdinand. You might have heard one of the songs called "Take Me Out." It was their second album when I was like 8 years old. What got me into like guitar-y, dancey, punky kind of stuff at first. So they were the first ones for me personally.
And before you answer, I want to get it clear to our viewers. So Josh is who?
That's me.
Josh, and you are the vocalist, and Henry, you're the bass player.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and Henry, what got you into music?
So to be honest, all growing up, every time I were in the car, my mum and dad got a different album on. So they typically were more like the indie rock type of genre. So that's what I started on as a youngster. And then as I've grown up and I met Josh and I started listening to music with friends at school and things like that, it's become more on the heavier side and the grungier side. But yeah, very much parents, I think, that started it off for me. And then I just started a band when I was 15. So it kind of just grew from there, really.
And the bass, typically not always looked at as the most glamorous position in the band. A lot of guys want to be front men. They want to be the guy out front shredding. Was it a natural fit for you? Did you always gravitate to the bass?
To be honest, when I first started in a band, it pretty much started because two of my friends at school played guitar and sang, and they were like, "Oh, we're starting a band. Learn bass and you can join," and that's pretty much how it started. So I got forced into it. It weren't an active choice. It weren't an active choice.
Sorry, you drew the short straw. You're the bass player.
Yeah, I wouldn't change it now though. It's the easiest, and I think I pull it off and look cool enough on stage doing it. So it's all right.
And I mean, come on, man. It's like the low end is holding it all together, right? I mean,
exactly.
It really is.
I'm the glue. That's it.
Most important. Yeah, definitely.
And so for you, is there a bass player or maybe multiple bass players out there that you feel like have had a significant impact on your style of playing?
To be honest, the one that I always looked up to growing up, there's a band called Peace, who they're fairly under the radar on the international scale, but they were quite big when we were growing up in the UK. So there's two brothers, the Koiser brothers, and one of those is the bassist, and I always looked up to him. I thought he was so cool, and the way he did things was just amazing. It was similar in a way to Manny from Stone Roses in the riffs that he were playing and that kind of thing. So they were two of the biggest ones for me growing up, definitely.
And what about you as far as frontmen?
Chino from Deftones.
Yeah.
Mike Patton is a good one.
One of my all-time favorites. Love him.
Man.
Yeah.
Mr. Bungle, man. I don't know, Corey Taylor. Anybody who doesn't know who like kind of goes for it. Obviously, Kurt Cobain's a big one as well.
Yeah.
I
didn't want to make that instant comparison and instantly go there, but certainly from listening to the music that you guys already have out there, certainly you can hear a lot of elements of Nirvana in it for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's probably his biggest overall influence on sound and stuff.
Yeah, we say we're going for a bit of a grunge revival kind of thing with the sound we're bringing. So yeah, Nirvana's quite close to that.
Hey, listen, I think people will be there for it, man. I think that was such a great period of time. I mean, you lads were probably pretty young when grunge was around. I mean, I'm 51 years old, so I remember when grunge was like really took over. It was an exciting time.
Yeah, man, can imagine. I was born in '97 and Emery's '99, so we're way after. After the same.
Way to make the host feel old, guys. Way to make the host. And so now, when you guys get together to make music, man, what's the creative process like amongst the band? Like, does someone come in with the lion's share of the ideas? Are you guys very collaborative?
So I'd usually come in with like the lion's share of it, the main structure, arrangement kind of thing, and then we'll take it down to his practice room, work on it a little bit. Then I'll then like edit it kind of at home, because I record everything at home as I'm writing it kind of thing. So it's already like halfway done when we take it into the room.
Right.
And then I can just come back and then whatever we've done in the room, then re-record, or get one of the other lads to re-record what we've done kind of thing.
And so for people that might not know right now, up to this point, there is no official release out yet. You guys have just trickled out some singles, correct?
Yeah. So we've got an album coming I think it's next July.
Yeah,
right?
Okay. Next summer
around. We haven't decided a date yet, but I think we're going to be starting promo for it like January time.
And one thing that happened around COVID time, you started to see the trend of, obviously people couldn't get out and tour, but people were releasing a lot of singles and even getting out a lot of EPs. For you guys, what's the release format that you guys like the most? Do you like a fully realized LP? Do you like EPs?
So it's a bit of a funny one, because when we first started releasing music, probably about this time last year, and we'd got that many different songs and that many different kind of genres we were tapping into. We'd released like 7 singles at once, and we'd got a plan to do 7 albums in 1 week, and we'd got these grand plans to just plow out loads of different music. And as we've kind of developed and got through it a little bit, we've realized that we're probably better starting off with the singles and kind of building up that fan base before we then drop an album. We want it to have the most effectiveness and reach the most people as possible. So we don't want to kind of rush things and just spray and pray with too much stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. And so where do you guys stand on, like, once the album's out, where do you guys stand on touring? I know obviously that's a big part of the industry right now, getting out touring, hoping you can sell merchandise. There's not a lot of interest anymore in the physical product. It seems like everybody is streaming or whatever. So, but do you guys have day jobs? Are you guys at the luxury to be able to tour at great length?
So at the minute, yeah, we're all kind of working day jobs still and doing musical bits on the side, but I think if we did get the opportunity to do it, I think we'd try as hardest to do what we could do, definitely, because I know that's what we all want overall is the touring thing, the gigs, the live. The live thing is what we do it for, really. Like, obviously it's good releasing music and stuff, but there's no better feeling, is there, than being at a gig and the crowd going wild and you getting into the crowd and stuff. It's that's why we all do it, I think. Yeah.
And what has been the reception like? Do you feel like you are making breakthroughs? Do you feel like the fan base is building? I mean, obviously, social media and having the platforms nowadays, it's one of those things that's kind of par for the course. It's a huge promotional tool. I'm sure you guys are on all the socials. Are you seeing good feedback?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, when we first started doing this, like I said, it's only been about a year really as this band, and we've kind of beat most of the milestones that we'd set when we started to be at this point. As listeners have been growing really well, all those numbers on socials and stuff. We've been partnering with a lot of decent promoters. We're getting gigs kind of around the country a little bit now, and everyone seems to be coming up to us after gigs saying, "Oh, we really enjoyed that. We weren't even aware that you like what you did, but we stayed until the end, and we kind of loved it." So yeah, it's been getting a good response, and yeah, we're happy with how it's going. So it's just keeping grafting and keeping at it, really.
And now, how do you guys get together as a band? Like were you guys all like school friends? Like what's the history of how you guys all arrive in each other's lives?
Yeah, so me and the drummer James, who's not on this, we went to the same school, so we kind of already knew each other. And then the other band that I was in that started in school, our guitarist left, and then Josh came in and replaced him. So me and Josh had been in the band since how long ago? 2017, yeah. So quite a while, and then that band kind of fizzled out, and me and Josh carried on doing stuff as a two. James came in because obviously we knew him from before, and then Harry only joined us probably January, February this year. we just found him on Facebook. To be honest, he put a post on saying what kind of music he played and what genre he listened to and stuff. So straight away we just dropped him a message and we're like, "I'll come for a jam," and then that was it. Really, we've not looked back.
Perfect fit, yeah.
So initially, I referred to you as the vocalist, but do you also play guitar in the band?
Yeah, like kind of rhythm guitar, really. Yeah, just filling it out.
And now, do you like multitasking? Because I know you see a lot of times in bands, you'll see somebody as just a front man, and then of course you do see lots of guys who sing and play an instrument at the same time. Do you enjoy doing both?
Yeah, I think it depends. I think if we've got a decent crowd, I'd rather not play the guitar and have a bit more crowd interaction. But
right
at the same time, I do like having the guitar as well, because it's kind of like, I don't know, like a weapon in your hands kind of thing.
Right.
Something to swing about and get.
Yeah. In this day and age, it's not a bad idea.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta keep resilient. Yeah.
And so, what's the right formula now when this album comes out? And I don't know how much you guys are at liberties to divulge, but when the album comes out, it will be a full-length album?
Yeah, 13 tracks it's going to be.
13 tracks. Okay, because I was going to ask you that if you guys had a number as a band in your mind, like what's the right amount of songs and what's the right amount of minutes for an album to be? Because that didn't used to seem to be a big deal. Back in the 80s and 90s, when I was a kid, you'd get Metallica albums that were well over an hour of music, you know what I mean? But people's attention span doesn't seem to be there anymore for it.
Yeah, definitely. I think ours is going to be like 35 minutes, 40 minutes maybe.
Okay.
So quite short and punky, definitely. Not too drawn out like a 9-minute Metallica song, but maybe album 3, album 4. That might.
Yeah. and so who handles most of the lyrics? Most of the lyrics are you?
Yeah. Henry's done a couple of drafts for stuff and ideas for stuff, but mainly it's me just hearing things that I hear in public or picking stuff off the TV and making it fit into something kind of thing.
Okay, that was gonna be my question, man. Like, what's the impetus like for the lyrics? Where do you draw the inspiration from? But you're saying, what are you, TV, movies, real life stuff?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, we could be sat in a pub, overhear somebody's conversation and take something out of that, and then nick something off of a Reddit post or something that you read in the newspaper or something. Just anything that when you hear it, you can think, yeah, that's going to be in a Stained Glass song kind of thing.
And now, Henry, if you could put your promoter hat on for a minute and you could draw up a dream bill with a couple other bands that you'd love to be out on tour with, what would be the dream bill?
Oof, that is a good one. To be fair, it's a difficult one because at the minute, the larger bands, there's not loads and loads that fit our genre specifically. I don't think. Right. I think we're quite unique in the scene at the moment. I mean, there's a band that we like that are getting bigger and bigger that we'd love to play with one day. It was at Fontaine's DC. I'm not sure if you're aware of them.
Sure. Yep.
We'd love to share a lineup with them. There's a band from Brighton that we've been speaking to that are doing well at the moment. They're a similar level to us, I think, but they're a band called City Dog. They're grunge. I think Brighton's got a really good grunge scene at the moment, so there's a few good bands coming up from Brighton area. But yeah, we're open to play with everyone. To be fair, we just love playing. So
yeah, if My Bloody Valentine, that's the one we'll go to. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Now we're talking about a huge mainstream band that people would know. So that would be like a dream bill. And when you guys get on tour, there won't be any Oasis type shenanigans. Nobody will be punching each other out or anything like that, right? You guys aren't going to go Gallagher Brothers, are you?
Not on each other, but maybe with us in the crowd.
Everybody gets to walk. Everybody gets to walk. Okay.
Only on stage.
Just on stage, yeah.
Well, but all kidding aside, though, do you feel like this is a strong, stable lineup? Because a lot of times it is tough. You know, it's a tough go of it nowadays, making it as a musician. Does everybody in the band feel like they're all kind of rowing in the same direction? You guys all feel like you're all trying to reach the same goal. Everybody's kind of dialed in.
Yeah, man, yeah. We've definitely got the winning formula at the moment. I think everyone's on the same page. We're all kind of driven and we know exactly what we want and what we need to do to get there. So yeah. I can't see this lineup changing anytime soon.
And for people out there that are in a young band right now and who might have a hard time, navigating through the music industry right now, what is the formula when you're a young band like this? Where do you put the most emphasis? Is it the great songs? Is it videos? Is it getting on a good tour? Is it a collection of things? Like what's the one thing you focus on to kind of make the breakthrough?
I think there's so many bands at the moment starting out or at kind of lower entry level. I think you've got to get everything right. I think there's too many opportunities that you can miss if you're not kind of doing everything and you're not switched on in every single kind of field. Josh is obviously the main guy that writes all the songs, so we've got a head start there, because I can honestly say that Josh has not wrote a bad song for us yet. But yeah, the social media is a massive thing. Like he said, it's just a big tool, and you're not going to get your songs out there if you're not promoting it properly. You can release songs and you might get 10 listeners if you've not got that promotion and people aren't aware of it coming out. So it's everything really: merch, gigging, social media, the actual songs themselves. I think you just got to find that perfect kind of recipe, and it's time consuming and it's difficult to do it right, but
it costs a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I talk to people on here that have been doing it for years and years, even decades upon decades, and you know, they're not necessarily having an easier time themselves. You know, it's tough nowadays. I mean, you know, you always hear the phrase, "Oh, I do this because I love it." But nowadays, if you're in music, you really are doing it because you love it. You know what I mean? Because unless you're way at the top of the food chain and you're fucking Taylor Swift, you know what I mean? Like, you're not exactly getting rich. You know?
No, man, definitely not. No, I think for us, even if we just get to a level where, even that's still a pipe dream, which where we're comfortable just doing music as a band. Obviously, we're not saying like mega stardom or being rich or everything, but just more. Yeah, we don't have to work the day jobs.
If we're going to afford to take a year off working out on tour around the world, then that would obviously be the dream. You know what I mean?
Right. And so Bohemia is the latest single. Who wrote this song?
So that were me and Harry, mainly Harry, but like then we both like put it together, like arranged it kind of thing. So Harry's the lead guitarist, yeah. And
for people that might be curious, what is the song about?
It's regarding being trapped inside your own delusions, if you get me. Kind of like when
I just opened up the show telling you I was David Lee Roth Jr. I know about being stuck in my own delusions.
Yeah, man. It's about you. It's about you, Mark. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Perfect.
No, it's the thing where if you're wrapped up in an addiction or some sort of obsession or whatever, it's you like trick yourself into thinking it's normal and it's okay and it's not gonna hurt you or hurt the people you love, kind of thing. So
right.
Yeah.
So a little bit of deep introspective stuff going on there then.
Yeah, man, always.
It's a theme in a lot of the songs, to be fair. It's always about kind of like deep emotions, whether it's sadness or anger or trying to escape or addiction issues. Yeah. It's always got a negative or something spin on it.
Or maybe a melancholic spin.
Yeah,
and now, so this is a question each, I guess, a couple of my subjective questions I'll post to you guys separately. And these are ones that I usually throw at everybody that's on here. So I'll start with you, Josh. For you, who would be your Mount Rushmore, your top 4 all-time favorite musical artists that mean the most to you?
So we'd go Slipknot.
Okay.
Definitely. Pixies. Let's go Deftones.
Okay.
And My Bloody Valentine too.
Not a bad Mount Rushmore. Now, what do you say, man? Henry? Are we going to top this or?
Probably not. Probably not. I think The Cure is probably up there for me.
Yeah. Who, by the way, have just made new music, by the way.
Yeah, man, it's good as well. Really good. Surprised. Not surprised because it's The Cure, but just because of.
Yeah. Probably thought
how long they've been going, kind of thing.
I think people thought, I think people thought they were just going to hear the old stuff and they were going to make any new music. Okay, so we got The Cure.
Probably for nostalgic purposes, I'm going to say Stone Roses, even though it's slightly different genres.
The Stone Roses are amazing.
Yeah, man.
Then I'd say controversial one. I'm probably just because I'm into them at the moment, but Blur is probably one that's up there. I think we've got a little bit of a Blur twist to us as well.
Yeah, okay, I can see it. Yep.
And then 4th and final, I would say probably Nirvana, to be fair. And I think those 3 albums that they released on the Bounce, it's going to be difficult for a band to kind of to top that, in my opinion.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of bands that put out that small of a discography and end up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that kind of goes to show the impact that they really made. You know what I mean? So another subjective one, and again, I'll start with you again, Josh. If I were to take you and drop you on a desert island and you can only take one album, what would be the desert island album?
Remaining Light.
Usually people hate me for this question, but
No, I've got it. Remaining Light, Talking Heads.
Okay, and he didn't even blink or even give it a second thought. I like the decisiveness. I usually either get people that are very decisive and know exactly, or they really have to roll it around for a little bit. You know what I mean? But and now before I get to you, Henry, what is it about that album that would make it be the album that if you only had one piece of music to listen to, or how does that album speak to you?
I think it's because it's got so many elements in the songs. There's stuff like I listen to it now, and there's still stuff I'm hearing for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's that combination of David Byrne and Brian Eno getting totally weird in the studio, and it's magical. Yeah, that's all I can say about it.
Okay, Henry, what's the Desert Island album?
I'm going to tell you this right. I'm going to regret it after we finish this call. I'll be like, oh, I wish I'd said a different one now. But the one for me is probably Peace in Love, their debut album. The guitars, the bass lines, the vocals, the lyrics. I don't think there's one bad song all the way through it. So yeah, I don't think most people will have heard of that. So I recommend people go and have a listen.
Yeah, nice.
Well, regardless of whether you change your mind or not, it's on the internet now forever. So I mean, it's been recorded for posterity's sake. You're on the record of saying it. So here's another question that I've recently begun doing on the podcast. A despicable question, man. But so far everybody has answered it. And again, I'll start with you, Josh. If we were able to have a barter right now, a trade. And now it's time to put your general manager's hat on as if you're running a sports team. If we could barter with God right now and we could get one dead rock star back, who would we want back and who could we give away in return? Now, there's got to be a rock star out there you want to get the fuck rid of. I mean.
Yeah. If we can call Chris Martin a rock star, then he's gone.
Coldplay. We want him gone. Wow. Yeah. Controversial already.
And then to bring back...
wait, it was easier for Josh to have somebody fucking bumped off than it was to think of somebody coming late.
I just Chris Martin, Coldplay.
He didn't hesitate at all on Chris Martin.
No. To bring back, probably. God, not so hard to answer. Maybe Hendrix.
Okay. You know what? That almost seems like, man, we're almost getting one over on God. We're getting back the mighty Hendrix, and we only got to give up little old Chris Martin. Not a bad trade. Not a bad trade. God would be willing to pull that off, man. That would be one for that would be one for mankind right there. Yeah.
We need it. We need it. We need it at the minute.
See, I'm the other way around. If I were going to bring someone back, that's a lot easier than killing someone off, I think.
Okay.
No, if I were going to bring someone back, I'd probably go. Following the theme of what I've said previous, we'll bring back Kurt Cobain. That's an
okay.
In terms of killing someone off,
yeah, I mean we can't have him back unless someone goes in his place.
See, I'm scared of what I'm going to say now. I don't want to get us cancelled by like.
Well, listen, Coldplay is probably one of the biggest bands, and again, I'm totally with you, Josh. I don't get it myself. I don't get all the hoopla, you know what I mean? But I've also been on this show and also said before, and it might be sacrilegious, but I've also said sometimes I don't even get the hype on a lot of bands that are really hyped up. I don't really get the Beatles, to be honest with you. And maybe I might catch some flack for that, man, but I missed the boat, man. I don't know. I don't find them to be as amazing as a lot of other people think. But, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's what's great about music. It's subjective.
Definitely. That's the best thing.
You're on the hot seat, Henry. Someone's got to go, or we don't get Kurt back.
I'm trying to think. Is there any pop singers that wind me up at the moment? Like a Sam Smith, maybe. That's probably one that
I like how you guys go big, man. You guys go right for the guys that are at the top, man. Get a Chris Martin.
They're less likely to see this and it wind them up. That's the
thing. And now, why did you go to Chris Martin immediately, though? Is it the music? Is it him? Is he over in your country? Is he in the tabloids a lot? Like, what is it about him that irks you?
It seems to be like he's like everybody's like hero for some reason.
Yeah.
Just because they introduced LED wristbands to the gigs, it's like change music. I don't know. I don't mind the first album when it was more like indie folk maybe, but as they've gone on, it's just very I don't know whiny and just bullshitty kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's just they're trying to sell me something and I'm not buying it. That's the problem.
Right. Almost kind of like when U2 was several years ago, man, just forced their album onto our phones.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mind U2 as much. Like I do like a few U2 songs, but that kind of thing is way too far. Yeah.
But it is a little bit pretentious, though, to just automatically assume that everybody wants your album and to automatically go and put it on our devices, though, right?
Crazy, man. I don't know how to get away with it. Yeah.
No.
No, man.
And now, as a vocalist, Josh, you because you do have some grit and some weight in your voice, are you somebody that ascribes to any kind of like a vocal care regimen, or do you just get up there and just kind of belt it out?
No, man, just get up and do it. Yeah, I've done it for long enough now that I can do it without straining myself or like hurting myself. But there's no like it's a regimen, or I kind of just get up and try and feel how I should feel when I'm singing the lyrics. If they're angry, kind of thing, try and tap into why I wrote them and why they make me angry, kind of thing.
And so, Henry, do you guys think about how long in between releases? Because obviously now people are very prolific in putting out work. You used to see back in the day a band would put out an album and then they tour around that album and they would let it kind of sit for a while and let the fans digest it. And typically you would see 2, 3, 4 years between albums. When this album comes out next year, how soon, if you're a young band, do you follow it up? How prolific would you guys like to be? An album every year, every 2 years, what's the formula?
Honest, if it were up to us, like I said, we'd probably do one every week, but it's not that simple. Right. So, in an ideal world, one a year would be nice. I've got a feeling it's probably not going to be entirely down to our control when it gets to a certain stage. I think there's certain people that you've kind of got to listen to a little bit when it comes to that kind of thing. But yeah, at least one a year would be nice. We don't want to kind of sit and we've got about 7-8 albums worth of songs written up and planned. So to sit on them for so long just feels wrong, really.
And what's the process like when you guys write? Like I know we talked about the creative process as a band, but individually as songwriters, talking to musicians on here so much, where the spark of creativity comes from. Like I hear from people a lot that they get ideas in the car and they're humming them into their phone or writing them down, or they're getting them at their day job. Or you've got the creative people that can kind of sequester themselves in a room and say, I'm going to go in and create and write and treat it like a job. What's the process like for you individually?
Yeah, that's like you said, sequester myself into a room and write it. But I think the thing with me is I need to have a bit of life experience before I can. What I usually do is I'll have maybe like 2 or 3 weeks from writing a lot kind of thing, and then let that kind of build up, and then it all sort of comes out in one spurt, maybe like 5 or 6 songs in a couple of days or whatever.
And what about you? Are you the type that can be disciplined and say, I'm going into a room and I'm going to write, or the ideas come to you differently?
Is that to me? Sorry.
Yeah, to you. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. To be honest, I don't do as much on the writing side as Josh, so it's very much just as and when an idea comes to me. Like I might be on the way home in the car, so I think, when I get home I'll do that, or I could be at work and something will kind of trigger something, so I'll quickly write something on my notes. But it's very much in the spur of the moment. I'll get an idea and I'll kind of run with it. It might get to a point where I just get 2 lines and I'll just keep it on my notes page and then maybe come back to it at a later time if something else comes up. But it's very sporadic and just inspiration in the moment, really.
Have either of you guys ever been jolted out of a sound sleep and had a stroke of genius and woke up and had to document something in the middle of the night?
I think maybe once or twice I've wrote some lyrics after sleep and then woke up and thought, that might be going into a song one day, definitely. Yeah.
I think I've actually once messaged you probably about 2 o'clock in the morning.
So for our there's a song called Astral Projection on Spotify. Yeah, that's actually what happened with that, isn't it? Yeah, I got a message at like 2 a.m. like, I've just thought of this full verse and chorus for this song, kind of thing. What do you think? And then I ended up like changing a few words and stuff, but like the skeleton of it is there, definitely.
And were you guys aware that there was a band of the same name as you guys way back in the 60s?
Yeah, we had a bit of an issue at the start of releasing music because of them kind of things.
The links are Spotify and Apple Music accounts to the old Stained Glass.
It's very. I was going to make the point to fans that might be wanting to check you guys out. It can be a bit difficult because when I was going on my Apple Music streaming platform, when I put in Stained Glass, it wants to automatically take me to their discography and their music.
Yeah, we've been having an ongoing thing of trying to sort it. We've managed to do it on most of the other platforms, but Apple Music seems to be the last one that we're struggling with. So yeah, it's more the specific song titles you've got to search to then find us, rather than just typing the band name, because it's somehow still muddled together in there.
Yeah.
And now, forgive me for not knowing this. Is the former Stained Glass still an active band? Because I don't know their work at all. I mean, because you talked about entanglements and stuff. Like, were there copyright issues? Like, was the name trademarked? Was there any hurdles like that you had to go through?
I think they're not an active band from what I can tell. They've not got any releases for a while. It's more the distributor that we used when we first started releasing music, and they just somehow just not separated it, and they just tagged the song that we'd uploaded onto the band that existed. So yeah, it were a distributing issue rather than anything else, as far as I'm aware.
Well, I'm pretty sure they don't sound like you, because upon Googling them, without even listening to their music, it said they were a psychedelic pop rock band. So
yeah.
I mean, so I'm sure there'll be a stark contrast between the two types of music. But I mean,
we'll have to do a cover one.
Yeah, we'll do one of their songs.
We'll do a cover one
in tribute. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe rock it up a little. And maybe rock it up a little bit, because they sound like they were probably a little bit on the weak side. I'm not sure. I'm probably making assumptions here. I haven't given their music a fair listen, but when you guys are going through like band names and you're naming this band, because again, that can be a difficult thing when you're a young band too. Were there other suggestions, and did you guys argue over this point? Did anybody have a band name that they didn't want to waver on?
We've had a few, yeah.
Before we actually became Stained Glass, we used to be in another band. Well, the same band, but a different name. We used to be called a band called Nasty Catholic.
Okay.
Which was quite punk, and
it's like
it was more on the heavier side. Some of the songs
you can listen to it on Spotify. It's Nasty Catholic. It's very
Nasty Catholic. Yeah. I wouldn't expect any. I would expect easy listening or yacht rock from Nasty Catholic.
No.
So yeah, we used to be called that, and then we slightly changed genre and became a bit more on the grunge side rather than the rock and the metal side. And then we just decided we needed a new name for it. And to be honest, we struggled for a while with lots of suggestions that we'd kind of come up with, and none really fit, or none that we could all agree on. And then as soon as Stained Glass got suggested, we're all like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And now, forgive me for not knowing this right now, but are you guys under management or on a record label right now, or are you guys doing everything yourselves?
So we've currently got a distribution deal with Ear 8 Records.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a development deal kind of thing. So I think they're going to give us like 12 months to do some releases and kind of reconvene and see what the numbers are like. But I've actually met their head guy, Tim, a few times now. We're in London together last week doing stuff. So it's good. It's kind of like a real like grace to have somebody that you can email and ask questions.
Yeah. And especially a label like Earache, man, because they are a well-known, typically more extreme music, but I mean, like, they are a worthy label.
Yeah, man. Like, they're Godflesh, like they're one of my biggest inspirations. So when we started working with them, it was kind of like a dream coming true, kind of thing, definitely.
And now the sound of your band right now, as we touched on, we made comparisons to Nirvana. You've hinted at it being, alternative or grunge sounding. But as you guys progress as a band, do you see the sound of your band or changing or developing into something different than what you currently sound like? Like, where do you see your music sounding like in 10 years?
I think, to be fair, we've got lots of different sounds now. We're sticking to obviously a similar genre at the moment, just because we're kind of building up to one album. I think, like I said, we've got 7 or 8 probably albums with the songs lined up, and some of them are on the really heavy sides. So we can see albums in the future being on the heavy side, and then we've got some more chilled out, ambient type stuff as well. So there's quite a wide spectrum. Obviously, we just pick this kind of one to start off with, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Really,
I can see it being Radioheady kind of thing, where they can go as far as they want with it and it still sound like Radiohead kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, go ahead, finish your point.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, if we can achieve that musically in our career, then I think that's kind of like what we want to do. Yeah.
Now, what about success here in the States? You know, if you're a band in the UK, is that something that's in your mind? You know, any place getting exposure here in America?
That is the dream for me personally. Like that'd be mine definitely. But we have been getting a lot of radio play on Amazing Radio USA. So
I always wondered why bands are always, you know, English bands, and I wasn't sure if that was like a dated question or not, because you always used to hear bands from other countries always concerned about kind of breaking big in the United States. But then I look at the United States and I think, God damn, a lot of great bands have come from England, though, man. I mean, you know, being popular in England, though, I mean, England has spawned some of the greatest rock and roll bands in the history. You know what I mean? Yeah, probably 2 or 3 to 1 compared to the States. I mean, all the legendary bands that you would think of in the top 10 are all from England.
Yeah, man. I think it's more the thing of traveling the States, playing the smaller venues, and then hopefully building up and stuff. It's just it seems like it just goes hand in hand with being in a band.
Yeah,
the tour around the States. There's something about it. Yeah.
And then Henry, what is the music scene like in the particular area geographically where you guys are? Is it a thriving music scene? Are there other bands that are similar to what you do, like or other genres more popular in your area?
Yeah, we've been asked this question a few times, and to be honest, it's a little bit frustrating for us because most of the scene where we are, it's very indie. There's a lot of kind of lads bands. Obviously, Sheffield and South Yorkshire, where we're from, is where Arctic Monkeys spawned, and that's kind of what most of the bands follow in terms of a blueprint, some like indie garage type bands. And I think we're slightly different to that genre, so we're just trying to build out our own little niche within the area and build up a fan base that might not usually be used to this type of music, and that kind of come and they see it and think, oh my god, this is amazing, why have I not kind of been into this before?
Try and convert some people.
So yeah, we're kind of converting the current scene with what we're doing at the moment, but hopefully it works. And I think, to be fair, the UK as a whole not too bad. So that's why we're trying to kind of expand. We're going down to Nottingham. We're trying to go down to London, over to the northwest, and that kind of thing. So there is definitely a scene for it. It's just happening to the right areas for that, I think.
Yeah.
And so when the album comes out next July, are there any particulars that you can say? Have you chosen an album title yet, or is that still under wraps?
No. Yeah. It's you knew that it was coming.
Is that the name of the album?
Yeah, it's from a lyric of one of the songs. It's just we wanted something with a statement kind of thing, kind of like a Sex Pistols-y.
Yeah. And so, what will be the plan between now and July? Will it still be to kind of intermittently release singles?
Yeah, so we're looking probably every 4, 5, 6 weeks that we'll be bringing out a new single. The next one that we're bringing out is actually going to be a cover. We'll not announce what the cover's going to be yet, but the next one's going to be a cover that we're releasing, and then I think the plan is probably 3 or 4 before the album comes out. So yeah, we're trying to keep it quite regular. I think it obviously helps with the promotion on social media and with Spotify and all that kind of thing with the algorithms and stuff. So yeah, we've got songs to release, so why not do it, really?
Definitely.
And Josh, obviously, I did mention, that there was another band with the same name as you. So to avoid the confusion, if people want to tap into what you guys do, what's the best way to find you guys?
So yeah, any social medias. I think if you type Stained Glass into any social media or Stained Glass band, we're the ones who will come up now.
Okay.
Because we've been going for quite a while. But if you're looking on music sites, just search Astral Projection or Bohemia or Rolling for Nona. They're just a fewer songs kind of thing. But
if you want to find all those different music platforms and things like that, and you've got Instagram, that's usually a decent one to go with because it's got all the links in his bio, and we've got a link tree that's on there and stuff like that, so you can find everything that you want to kind of view us and listen to us on through that link tree link on our Instagram bio. So that's usually not a bad one.
Okay. Listen, guys, this has been a lot of fun, man. I want you guys to stay in touch, man. I love what you guys do, man. When things start breaking, you got some more stuff coming out. I'd love to have you guys back on, man.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And so when you guys are as big as Radiohead, you'll remember that you came on this podcast early on in your career, and I'll have front row seats.
That's it. Definitely.
100%, man. 100%.
Seriously, guys, I really am in your corner, man. I love what you guys do, man. And I'm looking forward to more music from you guys, man. And definitely stay in touch, man. This was a lot of fun, man. We'll do it again for sure, man.
Nice one.
All right, great talking to you, boys. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, later, guys. There they go, folks. That is Josh Whitehurst and Henry Swift from an up-and-coming alternative grunge-sounding band out of the UK. They are called Stained Glass, not to be mistaken with that trio of pussies from the 60s. That Stained Glass, which I know nothing about, really. It's probably not the best policy here for me to be degrading and running these guys down. But you know what? I'm in the camp of this Stained Glass. These boys. This is my Stained Glass. I don't know about the Stained Glass that played psychedelic pop rock from the 60s. And maybe people will tell me in the comment section that they were fantastic. I'm not going to go and explore that right now. I'm into the bands that I like or finding new bands that I like. And I'm not going to go back in time and dig up this Stained Glass when we're trying to get the Stained Glass that I just had on the show catapulted upward and onward. So hopefully the boys are well on their way, man. Go check out what they do, man. This Stained Glass I'm talking about. It all gets very complicated, I know. Try to stay with me, folks. Stained Glass from the UK. That should make it easy because the other Stained Glass from the 60s was a California band or whatever. And I believe they are now defunct, not actively doing anything for sure. They have a discography, but as the boys said, Stained Glass, if you want to find out what they're doing, they have their last two singles have been Astral Projection, and the new one right now is Bohemia. Bohemia. Amazing fucking songs, man. Definitely think of a retro, a callback to the 90s, powerful, gritty, fucking emotionally charged lyrics, just good old-fashioned grunge music, and it just sounds fucking great, man. I love what these guys do, man. So definitely keep an eye on them, man. They are on the fucking rise. That was Josh Whitehurst, vocalist, and Henry Swift, bass player, and I think the boys are well on their way. I will definitely say Rexx Ruger approved. Go check these boys out, man. Find them on the social media platforms. Go check out the singles. Make sure to give the boys some support. You know, they can't do it without the fans, you know. So you guys got to be tapped in. You guys got to be listening, man. Have your ear to the ground, man. Be receptive to new stuff, although this is a very retro sound. So the boys bring a new, fresh take on a sound that we all fucking love, man. I mean, who doesn't love the good old-fashioned alt grunge fucking rock, man? You know, it's never really gone away. It always pisses me off when people say, oh, remember grunge in the 90s? You know, I think that's a lazy statement to make because, you know, that sound, angst-filled, fucking gritty rock and roll, first of all, I think it's always been here. And second of all, I don't think it's ever gone anywhere. So these guys are doing it and doing it to a high degree. I strongly suggest you guys go check out Stained Glass. Check them out on all the social media platforms. And as I said, go to your streaming platforms and get tapped in. The latest single is Bohemia. And before that, it was Astral Projection. And as the boy said, a full-length album coming in July of next year. So be on the lookout for that. So thanks a bunch to the boys for coming on the show. Let me give myself a look and make sure the quaff of Roth is still intact. God damn, still looking fucking good, man. Even the Freddie Mercury puppet back there, he's jealous. His teeth are even jealous. And that's a lot of jealousy right there. Of course, you know how I get it done, folks. A little product placement before I get off the air here. Get yourself a can. This will help you up your game. As I always say, I have the Roth genetics. I've got genes on my side. Don't hate, congratulate. I've got the rock star good looks, but I still use a touch of this, just a smidge. Now, granted, you won't look this good. Rule that out completely. That is out of the question. Impossible. But you get some of this in your life, and you will see improvements. That's all I can say. Let me admire my good side one more time. It's all a good side. There's the big reveal right there. Rexx Ruger has no bad side. And that's thanks to Pops up there. And even the boys could recognize that they were speaking with and honored by the presence of Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. So kudos to the boys in Stained Glass for recognizing greatness. And I see big things coming for them too, and a lot of greatness in them too. So hopefully a young band, the young band that they are, they will forge and blaze their own trail, man, and big things will come for them, man. They seem to have a can't miss sound that I think all rock and roll fans inherently love. So I think the boys in Stained Glass will be just fine, man. I wish them a lot of luck. A lot of fun talking to them. I really appreciate them coming on here. We will definitely do it again with them when things start percolating and as we get closer to the new album coming out. That being said, make sure to like and follow Pod Scum on Facebook. I got to do my promotional shit too, man. You got to do it. You got to play ball. Everybody's got to be on Facebook nowadays. Pod Scum is no different. You will find updates on newly released episodes and whatever other bullshit I want to throw on there. And also make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this very channel to stay tapped in where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Rexx Ruger. That being said, I will end this thing by reminding all of you out there to take it easy and keep it sleazy.